Welcome to the Brief Book Reviews channel, otherwise known as An Old Guy Reviews the Book that he's read this week. What's the old guy read this week? Book I read this week is this one. It's called Murder Town by author Shelley Burr. Published as a hardback by Hodder and Stoughton in the UK on the 28th of December 2023. Shelley Burr is an Australian author. This is a second book. The first one, called Wake, was published in 2019 and received great critical acclaim. They say the second book's always the most difficult one. Thankfully, Shelley's made a good job of this second book. I enjoyed reading it. So what's it all about, I hear you say? Well, the title Murder Town probably gives you a bit of a clue. It's based on a fictional town called Rainier. This is between, we're told, lies between two big cities, Melbourne and Sydney. Not much reason to visit Rainier unless you look at one thing, because 15 years ago there was a serial killer that committed 3 murders and became known as the Rainier Ripper. The town has got somewhat notoriety from that, but clearly some people in the town don't want to remember those events of 15 years ago. The book kicks off with a guy called Lachlan Lewis, Lewis & Co., who are a tour company, and they are trying to convince the residents of Rainier that a tour which commemorates the Rainier Ripper, the sites where the murders occurred and the history of that, whilst it's a little bit gory, will bring in revenue to the town. The town is somewhat divided because obviously some people see the upside, that it brings money and jobs to the town. It would possibly bring money and jobs to the town. Others simply don't want to be reminded of the gory facts of what happened there and when the Rainier Ripper was about. So kicks off with the great and the good of Rainier being invited to the central character Gemma Guillory's tea house. She's the tour guide, Lachlan Lewis, gives them a scope of what the tour will contain, and they retire to Gemma's tea house for tea and stickies and a discussion as to what's going on. Gemma is very good at has great empathy and knows the people who are for and against, and is trying to make sure that everybody has a sensible conversation as she works the room to make sure that nothing kicks off, if you will. Unfortunately, something does kick off, and there's another murder right outside Gemma's tea house. And all of a sudden, memories of the Rainier Ripper come back. So thus the tale unfolds. It turns out there's a lot of people in Rainier that have secrets. There's few people in Rainier that aren't who they seem to be. And Gemma, her husband, Hugh, who's one of the local coppers, try to find out what's going on. We have another subplot where somebody who featured in the first book, Shelley Burr's first book, Wake, a guy called Lane Holland, who's a PI, is in jail. And he's been approached to basically approach the Rainier Ripper, who's in jail for life, to try and see if he can get some information about it. They're wondering, is this a copycat killer? Did they get the right guy in the first place? And P.S., one of the 3 murders was a person they're calling Eva Novakova, excuse my Czech pronunciation, which is apparently the Czech version of a Jane Doe. It's an unknown body that's been found of Czech origin. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and it's a very twisty, plot. There's a lot going on. I enjoyed it. I think the only thing that slightly worried me from the start, there's a sort of bewildering number of people involved. We're dealing with all the residents of a small town who all know each other's business. Lots of them have secrets, and it was slightly difficult at the start to work out who's who and what they're doing. But eventually the story got going, and once the story got going, it was well written. As I said, lots of twists and turns, lots of people with secrets, and it was an enjoyable read. So I think this is a good effort. This is a good second book. I've seen some online reviews that say, well, not as good as the first, but I haven't read the first book, so I can't comment on that. But I enjoyed this. It's a good, twisty murder mystery, and I'd give it 7 out of 10. So that's it for this week's brief book review. Thanks for watching. 10/10 till we do it again.